Thoughts of the Round Table.
Okay, we can roll right into it again.
Yes, it is episode 3.
Honestly, I never wanted to start these.
We made it to our 3rd episode recording, which is more than a lot of shows can say sometimes, because shows get canceled sometimes after the pilot. So.
I know, we got signed on for 10 episodes at least. So we're here for
I like how we got signed on.
We signed ourselves on. We might have to review that by the end, but I don't know.
Some patron was like, I'm going to hire these two for 10 episodes.
We'll set up a mirror on the other side of a table and be like, you know what, guys, it's just not feeling it. I don't feel the cohesiveness.
We just sit down with each other, like there's like Paul 2 and Matt 2. Sit down with Paul and Matt.
I was going to say a bunch of buzzwords like synergy. I'll somehow squeak that in there.
You gotta throw in the corporate terminology too.
You guys just need space.
Like the corporate, the production value. We're looking for profits and like a continuous growth in the company.
And then we'll immediately lay off someone. We'll hire someone to immediately lay them off.
Oh my gosh, that would be a new standard, where we queue everyone up. We're hiring someone for season 2. Season 1 was great.
Hire an intern and then immediately lay them off.
Can you imagine if we actually went to Ohio Media Broadcasting School or something and was like, we're looking for an intern for this podcast series,
and then they would sit at my kitchen table with me and be like, by the way, you're not actually going to do anything.
You're just going to sit in Paul's kitchen with us.
You're going to sit there and watch this mediocre podcast.
And maybe you could take some notes about what works, what doesn't work.
You can maybe teach us how to do it.
You can when you graduate, you can be like, okay, I watched this podcast happen.
Not to do.
We have a mixer. We're really legit in a lot of ways. So.
And then we lay them off.
we
have them go to an event that doesn't exist. Have them go to some bar.
We make some appearances. We just go to the grocery store. Excuse me, this is do you not know who?
Have the intern go up and be like, I'm here for the appearance, and have the person not know what they're talking about.
We have a table with giveaways, like some Triscuits.
We'll set up shop next to those DirecTV people at Walmart, or the ones with the curtains that do your taxes
with polos.
Right next to the lobby. It's not like we'll get caught. Nobody actually works there anymore.
I mean, we can go. Well, if we want to go somewhere place where no one works, we'll go to Circuit City or something.
They closed.
Did they? Are they officially done?
They haven't existed since 2005.
For some reason, I thought Circuit City was still they're hanging on.
Go to Radio Shack though. They're gone too.
Wait, Radio Shack's gone too?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh my god.
We'll just hop up shop at Lens Crafters or something.
1-800-CONTACTS.com.
Oh
my gosh. Well, I think it's enough of us just laughing at our own jokes. But here's our segment. Today's Holy Grail. Now, Paul, what has been the light of your life recently? What's been exciting you, keeping you happy?
Nothing.
I just want that repeated over and over, just like a GIF version of that audio where I'm like, what's keeping you happy? Nothing.
Well, it's sunny right now, and we have 2 windows open, so that's about it.
Whoa,
I shouldn't be so morose. I don't want to be so morose. It's good. Everything's good right now.
Good.
I'm leaving the state in 2 days.
Yes, where are you going?
California.
Okay, and California. So, what do you like most about California?
Well, I only been there once. I went to L.A. for a week, a little over a week. And
was this after college? Was that
no?
For your dreams?
It was actually to the tail end of college because I was like, I'm going to move to L.A. and get a job. And then I went to L.A., visited, and I hated L.A.
Yeah,
I did. But I've heard I'm going to even more southern. I'm going to San Diego, and I've heard a lot of good things about that. Plus, that was more of a business trip. This is more of a vacation, so it should be fun. Plus, it's warmer than it is here, so that's fine by me.
I've been to San Francisco twice. Both for poetry international competitions, slam poetry.
You afforded it?
What?
Was it affordable? San Francisco's nuts, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a little crazy, but thankfully it was an all-paid trip because I won, as a poetry, got it's a scholarship.
Pretty legit, actually.
Yeah, I'm actually a very good writer. Rumor has it, but I loved it. It's almost Mediterranean. In the sense
is it always foggy like they make it seem?
I don't remember too much fog when I was there. But
how was Danny Tanner?
It was like a perpetual 70.
I missed it. All right.
Wait, what?
I said, how was Danny Tanner?
Oh, is that a Full House reference?
Full House reference.
Never seen Full House. I don't want to see Full House.
All right, it's fine. Keep going.
Anyway. Oh, no, I was just I like San Francisco, so.
Yeah. Anyways, I had a cousin who lived there for a while, but I think he literally lived in a closet.
What, you mean he was gay, or?
I swear to God, this dog.
Paul's dog is like the cutest thing.
But she like knows when to do these things.
She's like, she will like, it's like a ladybug's outside, and she's like, nope.
It's because kids are walking home from school.
Oh, it's kids walking home from school.
Turning the TV off, Colby. All right, sorry.
Oh no, you're fine.
But no, my cousin lived out in San Francisco for a while, and I think he lived in like seriously like it was only like 300 square feet or something. It was like $1,100, $1,200. It was nuts. So I don't know if I could ever. I want to go to San Francisco, but I know it's expensive. But I'd go there. I'd still go there.
At least do a day trip down the line.
Yeah. You know what I always wanted to do was like a West Coast tour.
Ooh.
Like you start in Southern California and go all the way up to Seattle or vice versa.
Oh, I do want to hit Portland.
Because I got stops on the way. I got family in Seattle. I got family in Oregon. I don't have any family in California, but I can be there, so that's fine.
You're like, I think I can make this work on the 2 pennies I make a day. Meanwhile, my holy grail. So I'm reading a couple books right now because I'm kind of crazy. But one is talking. It's
crazy for reading, man.
I mean, hey, crazy to read. I think you might have heard of it. It's called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck.
I've never heard of that.
Oh, well, it's like the hottest thing right now. So I decided to read it because it's like, if this is what the kids are reading, and by kids, I mean not kids because kids don't read, I wanted to read it.
Kids can't read.
Kids can't read. Kids can't read, can't with like a K. So, and it's a good read. It's talking about like, okay, how do you, just feel better about yourself in today's world? And one chapter that stuck out to me kind of was talking about, you don't want to ever be sure of yourself. And like, it's actually easier to not know who you are than to know who you are.
Because, I don't know if I'm following right now.
Let me give you an example. He talks about how like there's a banker who maybe part-time wants to be an artist, but because he thinks I'm a banker, like that's who I am, he doesn't push himself to try to be an artist. And so I was like sitting there and I was like, as someone who I feel like, and Paul, correct me if I'm wrong, because I feel like I always talk about this, like I'm always in a state of evolution.
That's true, 100%.
Always
if anybody
in flux.
knows you, you're always moving.
I'm always just like, what's next? It's kind of like I'm like one of those turtles that Darwin comes across in the Galapagos, like
that actually transformed.
Transformer in disguise.
And that's how we got the idea for Power Rangers.
but it's like for me, it's like okay. I know I'm always going to have weaknesses. I'm always going to have shortcomings. I'm always going to have failures. But it's like, how can I just get a little better? And obviously, we're not going to be perfect beings. But that's what I'm happy with. I'm like, this book, is clearly changing lives accordingly, and
God, you make me seem like an idiot. I'm like, you have this huge, deep, like, beautiful piece about how, you're changing life. I'm like, I'm not going to be in Ohio.
Paul's like, I'm not happy. I'm like, evolution.
I think I'm way dumber than I actually think, honestly.
No, it's funny because I feel like some people think I'm dumb just because I'm fun and happy, and like then when people hear that like I actually like have like a low-key old man inside me, they're like I thought you were just like
I feel dumb.
They're like, I thought you were just like happy and like funny and like sexual. I'm like, well yeah, but like I'm well rounded.
Have you ever been like in such a good mood that someone actually thinks something's wrong with you?
I mean, there's some people who like, and I think you probably experienced that, like the energy just never meets, and it's like
it never meets.
Like you just meet someone and their energy and your energy just like it's just bouncing back and forth.
Yeah,
it's ricochet.
Even if you're both in really good moods or really bad moods, it just doesn't work.
Yeah, and it's not like I dislike someone because our energies don't mix, but I think those people though are gonna in general for anyone else, it's like okay. They're not going to vibe off of you, so they're never going to see who you are. They're just going to like have this like general statement of like, oh, he's stupid, he's annoying, he's, I
never want to meet those people, and I also never want to be that person.
Well, I mean, not that everyone, there might be some people who are always like that, but like there's people that I've met who I misunderstood or miscalculated.
Yeah.
Just because our energies didn't match. It's like, oh my God, like, isn't she annoying? And then like 10 years later, I learned she's like Mother Teresa. And I'm like, oh. Now,
are you talking about first impression? Because I've met people too who like literally have the worst first impression ever. Like they are just total like they're an ass.
Yeah.
And then you actually get to know them and they're great. They're great people. I've also met the opposite where their first impression is really good, and then you get to know them, and you're like, oh, so you should probably be in jail.
Like you were the kid who, you know, instead of having your parents sign your forms, you know, you sign them yourself.
Yeah,
you know, like when it's like, tell your mom and dad you got an app, they have to sign the form.
Did you ever sign your own report cards?
No, you know, because I was about like an A/B student. Yeah, it wasn't until I got to high school that I really did struggle in certain subjects. Because I think around high school, and maybe you felt this too, by like when you're like 12 or 13, you're like, okay, I know what I'm good at and what I'm not. Or what at least, like what I like and what I don't like.
I don't remember. I know what I liked and didn't like, but I don't remember thinking what I was good at and what I wasn't.
Oh, see, for me, it was like I stepped into, I was, you know, I actually was in 8th and 7th grade, like math honors. Mm-hmm. But then I was like, I'm not like that good at it. I just tried hard. And on top of that, I didn't like it. So I entered 9th grade in honors and plummeted out to regular. Like it was like a slippery slope.
This kind of reminds me of one of the biggest regrets I've ever had.
Which is?
Seriously. Ever since I was a kid, I was always like fascinated with, and I don't know why, but I was always fascinated with like weather and not astrology, but meteorology and things like that. Mm-hmm. And I always wanted to get into that all the way through high school. And then literally my senior year of high school, I went to music school instead. Ended up getting kicked out of music school. Ended up in communication. Yeah. And now I'm in radio. So I missed out. And I really bummed that I never went to meteorology, to be honest. I think I should have.
It's not too late.
I mean, it's so much math now. I'd be so far behind.
Oh.
Though, who knows? I might not have even made it in the first place. I might have gone for meteorology, totally failed, and been working at, you know, who knows?
Well, I don't know if you've met this, but like sometimes I'll meet someone and they're like, oh, like I was on the radio once.
Oh,
or,
yeah.
like I worked as there was actually this guy who was 30 who was like, I used to be a meteorologist, but I had to give it up because it was just like there wasn't a lot of money in it. And I'm like,
that's the biggest excuse I've ever heard for getting out of radio. I hear that a lot.
Yeah.
They were like, I did. And people are legit like, hey, I was in this local station for like 5 years, but I was broke and didn't want to be broke anymore. That's the thing. You got to learn how to be broke. Seriously.
Dude, I've been so frugal for years now. And like, it does not bother me that like, I mean, I don't want to give away my yearly income. It's above the poverty line.
I don't want to say, you know, we're not broke either. Neither of us are broke. And I'm glad neither of us are, but it's definitely harder.
Yeah, I mean, some people have the salary where they can afford to like rent out the cabana, and you know they can afford to go to every Indians game if they wanted to, and it's like, you know, yeah, I don't have as much to do all these awesome things, but yet I still think that I have such an exciting life.
But yeah, because we're lucky at the same time. Because how many people get to do anything on the radio at all, legitimately on the radio? And it's a lot of fun. Yeah. It is a lot of fun, but it's also very stressful.
Yeah.
I had something for you, but it's gone now.
I was smart for a minute, but
I like to think about like past or possible versions of myself a lot.
Same.
Like what would have happened if I would have done this? And you know what's funny? And I'll say this now. I had a job offer in Arizona for something in radio. And I don't know if I ever told you this.
I don't think this is new for me. I'm like,
I did, and I had a job offer in Prescott, Arizona. So it wasn't like the biggest. I wanted to go to Phoenix, not Prescott. And Prescott's like a colder area. It's kind of like almost like Ohio weather. And so I had this job offer for not a lot of money, and I was thinking about taking it. I was almost signing the paper, and then I was like, you know what? I don't. That's not the area I want to be. I literally would be broke. Like the person was like, I hope you like hot dogs for dinner every night. Oh. Like they told me that, and I'm like, I just want to deal with that right now. I'm just gonna stay in Cleveland for a little bit, and then literally the next week, I met Katie, who I'd end up marrying.
Yeah.
Literally the next week.
See, that's wild.
Isn't that crazy? I'm
a firm believer that like a door may close, but there's always going to be a window or two that's open.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, it's hard to tell, but
yeah. I think you're clearly better off. You're married. I mean, some of us out here are struggling to even get to a second date. So
honestly, like not even. I don't want to like sound rude, but I'm really glad I don't have to date anymore. Honestly, I don't think I could do it. I never really like. I wasn't, single when Tinder was a thing or anything like that. But I never really like dated in the. Does that make sense? I never went to bars and like, what if something came to me? Something came to me. And so
today, to me, it's like dating's kind of like being a member of a cult. It's like, okay, well, we're kind of all here. We kind of believe in the system, but like, do we really believe in the system?
And no one actually knows if they're doing the right thing.
like, do we really want to be drinking the Kool-Aid? Yeah. Like, I don't know.
And then you do anyway.
And the cult leader is kind of like society's expectations that are like, well, listen up, guys. Like, if you don't do this, then like, it's not gonna be good for you in the long run. We're just like, oh, okay.
All right, you want to move on?
Absolutely. Friend, marry, or kill? I'm going to give you 3 options. You got to tell me who's the friend, would you marry, obviously, in a figurative way, and then who's going to be killed, unfortunately. And you don't have to do the killing. They could maybe, by accident, fall into a car crash. So... Okay. Kim, Chloe, and Courtney, all over the news lately.
I know, and it's it sucks because I'm not really into the whole celebrity thing. I'm just not. I've never really. I mean, I know who they are. Obviously, it's stupid, but I'm like, I don't really follow. This out, and then let me see what you say. I know for a fact. Kim would be gone. Like, not even like that's not even a thing. Okay. So she's definitely the kill or whatever, and so that leaves Chloe and Courtney. And I don't know much about either of them, but I'll marry Courtney and then friend Chloe. Yeah, that's what I'll do.
You literally took my exact response, too.
Yeah, because...
That's literally what I was going to have.
My logic is Kim's just annoying. She's like the main one, whatever. I don't need... And she's so, like, monotone with everything, like everything in her life, so she's gone.
For me, it was just, like, out of the 3, she was my weakest link.
Well, the thing is, out of all of them, I don't know anything at all about Courtney, the most, if that makes sense.
Courtney, to me, is the realist. Right. So that's why I think I would marry
Let me see a picture. I'm going to pull up a picture, because I don't remember what she even looks like.
We need some, like, evidence for the court.
But, like... You hear a lot about Chloe, and that's whatever, but Courtney you never hear anything about, and to me that's better because I don't want to, I don't know, get involved in all that. Yeah, see, I was right. Yeah, I picked the right one.
Yeah.
They all look they're basically the same, though. Can we say that they're basically the same?
Yeah, they're kind of like, like you're like, oh, I love these ferns, and then someone comes up to you and goes, oh, no, the one's not a fern.
What does that mean?
Like you look at them and they're like ferns, but like then like you find out that like, oh no, like there's actually different subspecies of plants going on, and you're like, oh, I wouldn't have guessed. Like this is news to me.
All right, so what you would have done the same thing?
I literally would have done the same thing. I was gonna marry Courtney, friend Chloe.
Why? What's your reasoning though?
Like I said, Kim's my weakest link. I like Kim. I don't mind Kim, but like Chloe,
she's just she's the most annoying out of all of them.
Yeah, I'd say the least. Like I don't know. I agree with you on that. Courtney's the realist to me. Mary kind of implies more than friend. So that one was just kind of like how I put the equation to it.
Right.
So what do you got for me?
All right. This is it'll be fun. You ready?
Yeah.
The last 3 presidents.
Oh, my goodness. Just to clarify, it's Trump, Obama, and Bush. Okay. This one's easy, too. This is easy.
I was like, this is going to be good.
Marry Obama. Because Obama is like America's sweetheart, and let's be real, like every time Obama just like speaks, you're just like, oh.
Everybody listens.
I would friend Bush. I wasn't a fan of Bush when he was a president, but like I gotta tell you, I'm kind of a fan of like post-president Bush.
Yeah, you see his art? He like paints and stuff.
No way.
Yeah, he paints wounded soldiers like portraits. And it's like actually pretty good.
I gotta check that out. See, that's the kind of friend I would want. And then of course Trump, I guess, it would be killed.
We're gonna get like arrested for saying that. I don't know.
Like this is when like the door busts open and like the FBI are like seize. Like
this isn't even published yet. Is the moment we're speaking this and like coming down.
Like we heard you on your podcast and we're like,
damn you, Siri.
Like damn, right? Siri's like, I cannot hear you ever and correctly identify what you want me to do, but of course the NSA listens in.
By the way, can we just break away for a moment to
Kelly Clarkson breakaway?
No, to talk about Mark Zuckerberg getting interviewed by Congress, which is the weirdest thing I ever witnessed in my life. By the way, just as before you get anything, he had to sit on a booster seat.
Yes, the booster seat. What was that about, Mark?
I do not know. I honestly do not know.
Honestly, the whole thing about that was like, remember watching The Social Network, the movie?
Yeah.
And you're oh my God, Mark Zuckerberg is kind of a badass. And then like you kind you see real Mark Zuckerberg and you're like, oh, like not really that much of a badass. Yeah. But then you see Mark Zuckerberg who goes in front of the hearing and he just looks like he looked miserable.
Oh yeah.
He had bags under his eyes. He looked so pale.
He was probably prepping.
He was hiding underground.
And I kid you not, I was like, this dude's gonna show up in a hoodie. I thought he would, because he does it for everything.
Yeah.
But he wasn't. But it was so weird because obviously the senators and House members are very politically intelligent.
Oh, yeah.
They're intelligent people, and he's very technologically intelligent, but they just could not understand each other. Like, they just couldn't get each other. And they were asking questions about, like, what was the one that, like, they asked how, like, if Facebook is free, how does it make money? And he's like, we sell ads? Like, how do you not know how that works?
Or like, can you just imagine a senator like, Mr. Zuckerberg, I got a question for you. When I go to upload a photo, it puts it as my profile picture and not on my wall.
Like he starts giving like IT help. Like, I can't share this photo and I don't know why. How do I fix the privacy
like someone else is like, so I was like, well, I want to have a status, Mr. Zuckerberg, but I don't want it to be with everyone.
How do I not show this to my mom? How do I block her? But
Mr. Zuckerberg, how do I link my Facebook to my Twitter?
Well, they also own. But what was really funny is he had the upper hand because literally everyone sitting in that room has a Facebook probably. Every single senator at least has a Facebook.
Dude,
page.
I've been thinking back and forth. I'm like, do I want to delete my Facebook or not? And like, I
you can't even delete it anymore. You can just disable it.
Really?
It's there. You have it. It's
That's
there
weird.
So you can't even you can't delete it. Like, the only thing you can do is disable it so it goes away.
Yeah.
But it's never gone. It is always
See, like,
there.
I don't update mine. Like, I haven't updated mine since 2015.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Well, then.
Like, the photo, my current profile picture is me on my 21st birthday, which was 2015.
Wow.
Like, that's my profile picture.
See,
still.
I'm usually on it every day posting really weird stuff.
I'll, like, jump on just to get my notifications, but, like, I look at them real quick and then I'm off.
I like to read really weird articles that everyone like hates and argue. I love internet fights. Internet fights are the greatest thing in the world. I also love going to pages that do nothing but repost old people talking to companies. Like the old lady who messaged Advil and asked where the Malaysia plane was. That was
like, give it back, Advil.
Advil never answered.
What about you, presidents? Find, marry, and kill.
The same, what you said. Yeah, but your reasoning's pretty sound. I didn't think about.
We're going to come up with
it.
some harder ones next time.
Yeah, I mean,
this or thought. And basically, I presented us a couple things, and we got to pick. So, coffee or tea, Paul?
Coffee. I hate tea.
See, I love tea,
really do.
But coffee, just like, I feel like I drink more coffee because coffee, like, I feel the caffeine. Tea's like if I want to grab a cardigan and I want to sit down and like feel good about
myself. But all
myself.
it is leaf water. Like, it tastes like warm leaf water. Now, granted, coffee's just bean water, but I mean, it's more flavored.
It's elevated, you know.
Plus, tea doesn't do anything for me, like, energy-wise.
Okay.
So it's.
See, I feel refreshed with tea, but coffee gets me going. Gets the people going.
I've had too much of it at this point, though, so it's like, it doesn't really work anymore.
Speaking of fern, cactus or fern?
Cactus. I love cactus. Look around where we're sitting. There's like probably at least one visible cacti. Well, Cat ate the one, so that one.
I'm actually looking around. I don't.
There should be. I don't know. There's like not a physical cactus, but like a little cactus.
I have to confirm this.
There's one right there.
Oh, well, yeah. No, I agree. I like fern, don't get me wrong, but cactus, there's something more like...
They're so versatile.
Poetic.
They literally can survive in anything.
Like, I'm sure there's more poems out there about, like, the brutality of a cactus than, like, of a
But how it's
fern.
got a soft inside.
Yeah, and the juice, cactus juice.
And then a woodpecker, how it, like, gets in there. I don't know.
Banjo or ukulele? I'm going with ukulele.
I guess it depends on what it's for, now that I think about it, because banjo music, like twangy banjo music, I don't like.
Oh, same.
But a banjo and a polka band sounds pretty good.
You know, that's a new revelation for me. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, and ukuleles are always awesome. So, but I'd still probably go with the ukulele.
I think ukulele. Mainly, well, you know what? If mandolin was on this list, I think I would give it to the mandolin, mainly because "Losing My Religion" by R.E.M. is one of the best songs of all time.
All right, now I got one for you.
Okay, shoot.
If you have to get what are your two favorite music genres? Two favorite.
Electronic and indie.
You have to get rid of one forever, and like you don't even you remember it, but nobody else does.
See, like the thing is, I think if you get rid of either, they make a resurgence eventually.
No, they're never coming back.
They're like signed, sealed, delivered, gone.
They're never in the Disney.
Then I'm gonna have to say indie because there's a lot more genres closer to indie than electronica. I mean,
what kind of electronic are you talking about though?
Like all sorts.
Like, give me an example.
Oh, good question. Well, right now I'm really into like Alice in Wonderland dropped her new album.
Okay, so you're not talking like Skrillex, or is that what you're?
Well, no, Skrillex is electronic.
Okay.
It's a very large
like house music.
I mean, everything: house, trance, ambient, spatial.
One of my buddies is in a band that does nothing but ambient sound music. And he makes a killing off literally just making ambient sound music.
It's nice.
It's crazy. Like, I would never think to do that, but I guess
maybe that's the future of this podcast. Maybe our podcast becomes an ambient podcast.
All right, now I got another one for you. Mine are kind of situations more than anything
I like
else.
it, though. I like it.
You have to camp for a week in the desert or in the Antarctic. Which would you rather do?
Well, the Antarctic is drier than the desert, so I'm going to go with the desert.
It's drier than the desert?
Yes.
What about the snow?
It's all ice.
Well, can't you chip some off? I mean, to make a cube.
But it's gonna be so cold. Like I don't. At least in the desert, like I can like come across an oasis.
Isn't the Antarctic technically a desert?
Yeah, that's why it's the driest place on Earth.
That's ironic, isn't it?
I mean, Alanis Morissette thought a lot of things were ironic too, but some of hers weren't really ironic. They just sucked.
And an easy one: apples or oranges?
Apples. Even though, listen. If you had said apples or
banana,
not tangerines, clementines, I would have been like clementines all the way.
Great, clementines are amazing.
But like oranges are tough to peel. They're not that sweet. You don't get a lot out of it, and you still like even after you peel an orange, there's still all that like shell residue.
It's kind of like me. Once you peel back the layers, are still crap you gotta deal with.
But I was like, I identify as an orange.
Okay, last thing.
Shoot.
Stories from the peasants.
In this segment, Stories from the Peasants, we talk about experiences at present, previous, past workplaces. So I took up a winter supplementary job.
I love how you call it not just a side job or a second job, a winter supplementary job.
Well, so basically I went in the winter and I work in industries where like summer is key. Like, so I work a lot in the summer and I get to winter and I'm like, oh, like I need to pick up like a little something. So I picked up a little something. And long story short, it's supposed to be seasonal, but they loved me and they're like, we want you. And I was like, okay, I can afford to do like 2 shifts a week. That seems reasonable. Well, anyway, I was in there literally yesterday, and it was just like, it's a customer-based job. It's customer service, and it's one of those things where I'm like, do people just when they go shopping or when they go out to stores, do most people just suck?
Yeah, basically. If you get a group of maybe 10 people, let's go with 100. Mm-hmm. You get a group of 100 people together, 98 of them suck.
Seriously, like. Just people were like just sucky, and then on top of that, like we're so understaffed at the moment, so it's like not only am I like working for like 2 people, but it's like I'm also not getting paid that much for it, and it's just like the morale is low. But I'm not even kidding you, in the span of like 2 minutes, I had a lady who was like, I need to like know about the product, and I'm like, well, 1 second, like I'm dealing with an old man who lost his coat. And like it sounded like his coat was stolen. And then another woman was like, I need someone to open the CD for me. I can't open the CD. And I'm like, what is going on?
Even get Spotify. That's I open your CD.
It's literally like I was babysitting. Like I felt like I was a daycare. Like, okay, we're gonna get your CD open. 1 second, we're gonna find your coat. Okay, we're gonna help you look at the technology. 1 second. You know what I mean? Like, oh my gosh. Like
I think everyone should work customer service for at least a year in their life. Like mandatory customer service training, honestly.
Like, can you imagine like a trailer for that like dystopian movie?
Oh God.
In a future where everyone has to work 1 year of customer service.
I used to work at a grocery store, and I had a lady hit me over the head with an ear of corn once. So anything goes.
Was it corny?
Yeah, actually it was. It really was.
See, like, I don't mind. Like, I love serving, bartending, because these are gigs where it's like, okay, yeah, you kind of get put through the ringer, but like,
and you have a chance for tips too. Like, no one's tipping you for opening their CD.
Right? Like,
honestly.
Thank you for opening the CD for me. Here's like $1. No, they don't do that.
Here's a quarter, kitty.
Like, oh. that's why it's different. You know, like I don't mind. I'll put in like 150% when like the money is 150%. But like when the money, it's like when I'm a peasant, stories from the peasants, you know, throw back to our title of this segment. It's like, why am I like dying?
Well, it's funny. It reminds me of one of the greatest things I ever saw at a retail job. It was this guy who just got hired in our department, and it was when I was at the store, and he was this big dude. Obviously, he was worked out, could throw around a lot of stuff and move fast, and he was like trundling along, you know, kind of doing whatever. And our boss came up to him and was like, hey, you need to work faster. You know, you need to get stuff done. And he looked this guy, this is his first day, looked him square in the eye and said, you paid me $8 an hour. This is my $8 an hour speed. And walked away. And the boss had no idea what to say to him because it's like, okay.
I agree. I mean, you know, I'm sure you could attest to this too. It's like, okay, one job pays you 8, one job pays you 15. Which job do you work harder at?
Yeah.
And that's why people are like, well, I don't get why people are so like complacent in their jobs. Well, it's like half the time they're not making that much. So it's like, I don't blame them for not working.
If there's no incentive of a raise, it's like, why am I going to work harder if I'm just going to get the same stuff?
Yeah, that's why, like, like in the company, the Fortune 500, what are the best companies to work for? Oh, they give excellent salary, they get excellent benefits, they have good company morale, like they don't hire stupid people to be the bosses. That's what I hate too. I'm like, there's certain people that like get hired to be management, and I'm like, who hired this person? Like, there's someone at one job where they're so deflating. Like, it's always like I feel like I'm a tire that's like on a slow leak, and I have to work with this manager. I'm just like the car's in a ditch, like with one wheel like deflated, like everything is like a side comment with like an insult attached to like the task at hand, and it's like, who hired you? like, did you like do a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde thing where you were just like, I am an empowering leader, and like, here's my references, and like, I love working with staff. Then you turn around and you treat your staff like crap. Like,
well, I feel like we've gotten to the point where you don't get anywhere in any sort of job unless you cheat someone out of something, or mean to someone or something, screw someone out of something.
Or you're simply like, I guess like you're simply had the like, oh, I've been here for 10 years, that's why I'm the manager.
And then you can do anything, you get tenure, and you become an ass. Honestly.
Yeah. Oh. Well, anything else, Paul?
No. Any final thoughts?
Any final oh, that's how we see. We should close every episode with final thoughts. I gotta get the jingle ready for that. I'll be like, final thoughts.
I have one thing to say.
Oh, say it, Paul.
Drink your milk and stay in school. I was like telling people that.
I like that.
Even people were like 50 years old, I was telling them, drink your milk and stay in school.
Don't do drugs.
Mr. T used to say that, so I got it from him.
I like that.
Those old ads.
Mine might not be as prolific. I'm gonna say, be you until the day you die, and prolific. Then maybe you'll be someone else or in heaven.
I quoted Mr. T. That is more prolific than mine.
I like how once again, like I say something deep and you're like, damn it.
Whatever. I guess I'm just not as deep.
I was like, I'm a simple guy with simple quotes.
I'm an orange. You got to peel back the layers to get to the more annoying crap.
And then you got to find a dry orange underneath. As dry as the Antarctic, as we found out today. Okay. Adios, amigos.
Later.
Thoughts of the Round Table.